And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is, of course, the ROG University Alliance Cup featuring Wild Rift. Kanina, nakita natin si Yoko at si Rebenga casting those first two series. Now, you're going to have me and Naiso. I'm higher on. And yeah, I just mentioned his name. And we're back here for TUP Gearhawks versus Faith College's Bravehearts. And this is one of the series that I was really waiting for today. What is up with you, Naiso?
Yeah, excuse me. I actually got to see both these teams play, so I am excited to see them once again today. We've seen a lot of hot action, these past couple series, and I am looking forward to it. And we're jumping right into that draft as well. So, have you seen these two teams play, Hiron?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for Faith, they're pretty solid. I'm pretty sure like Penguin and Tokyo are the star players for this team here, but they're generally consistent. And Antondi, and whether it's Ray or Jay, they're always very consistent in that bot lane, and that allows the solo laners, the Baron lane and the mid lane, to really shine. Meanwhile, on the side of TUP Gearhawks, they're very mechanically skilled here, and we can see a lot of like super playmaking potential here coming in from Bitter End and Sly, and coming in from the draft, of course, is going to be the Lee Sin here, banned away from Bitter End. So his Camille is still open, Rengar is also still open, but the Diana here for Tokyo is not going to be available here, or Sly also plays it sometimes. And of course, the Groggy's man is going to come through.
Yeah, I got to see Sly play some Annie yesterday, which was actually a treat because, Annie's not really picked that much here, as often in the competitive scene. So it'll be interesting to see what Sly picks. I'm always keeping my eye on mid players as well. And I'm not surprised, first pick being that Garen actually right there. Garen just seems to be such a good quality pick lately, especially because he brings so much to a team fight, even though he's, technically mechanically wise, he's a simple champion, right? But he has the silence, he has the, couple items. He's super tanky. He's a great front line. So
it's great for disruption. At the start of UAC, I kind of doubted first picking the Garen here, but I then over the few days I've started to warm up to it here. And at first, I also thought that Akali would have a little bit of a favorable matchup against Garen, but Cool, if you saw from one of our games yesterday, actually proved that that is a very winnable lane by that Garen here. Of course, Camille being locked in, it's most likely just going to go to tier 4, tier 5 since Penguin's already on that Garen. This Akali here is a little bit more, because it can go to either Messick or Sly. It most likely is going to go to Messick here. This Galio is also flex. The Rengar is very, very strong lately. It's just so bad that Kha'Zix is just bad right now compared to Rengar, because he's my preferred, like survival of the biggest predator in the Rift. But Rengar,
unfortunately, he's underperforming.
Of course, Corki here, classic for Ushiro. Probably gonna see Galio could be on the support role. That is a flex, but we might be seeing the Braum here. If since John is already taken here by the Bravehearts.
I kind of like what Bravehearts are doing as well. Okay, we got an Annie. I'm guessing that's gonna go to Sly. I don't know. Like I said, we saw Sly on Annie yesterday. So
and then Galio's gonna be support, which is pretty solid here. Gives them some
which is a good support.
And, a lot of bodyguard potential as well later, and they have all the killing covered already with Bitter and Messick. Sly can do the initiation for them. And then Aesthetic, they do have a bit of a Galio delivery system with Bitter End, as well as Messick just diving in. But it's usually you'd want a more sturdy frontliner to be able to catch that hero's entrance. Meanwhile, inside of Bravehearts, it's very space oriented. No, they have the Ezreal, they have the Janna, classic combo, super safe in lane. They have the Ahri. All of these guys can just move and just run out whenever Messick and Bitter End jump in. Yeah, they have a lot of poke with the Orb Perception. They have the Mystic Shot as well, and they have Penguin. They don't really have a front line that is a big deterrent once a team fight actually starts, but Garen is very good at zoning teams off of the objective, right? For example, with Dragon, with Baron, there's this little inlet that goes to blue buff, and then if you place your Garen there, it's a really good deterrent since they can't just walk through it. But in a team fight, I'm less inclined to think that the Garen will be a super solid front line here, but we'll see. TUP versus Faith. Once again, another match that I've been waiting for. Let's look at jungles to start.
Yeah, going to be exciting to see this. And as we get into the game, of course, we can see, we have the pick'em there as well. Vote 83%, it looks like. So you know, we're gonna have to see how we have. I'm sure we have our predictions as well, Hiron, and you know, we're gonna see. We also have a shout out here. Good luck, GHX, Messick, Sly, Bitter End, Yushiro, and Ace. We got that shout out from Cheesecake, and let me just go ahead and just fix this up as everybody's pretty much going to the lanes here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see how these teams fall out.
Yeah, on opposite sides of the map, we won't really be seeing a lot of action here coming in from junglers. They're just gonna trade scuttlers, top and bottom. Maybe we'll see some action around mid lane and a few ganks on opposite sides of the map here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to see how that goes.
All right, there we go. We got a fourth Penguin on that Garen. We have this matchup, the Penguin versus Penguin versus Messick on this Kali. And, you know, right now, I think Penguin obviously is going to have that, you know, back against the wall kind of thing. Disadvantage right now. But it's fine because Garen does really well. And we could see everyone gathering around that first scuttle towards the river here. This usually breaks down to a fight. Yeah, and here we go. And they got it. But here's a taunt coming out from the Galio. And now they're working on getting a kill here. The flash is coming out by the Camille. And they're finally Sly catching that first blood. Also, Rengar going down there working. Gets the charm off. Nice charm on top of Sly there. They get the double kill for Anton Die right there, and you have the action. Now we're going to get to see this replay.
The ROG replay here, and it's kind of a scruffy fight, but the important thing here is they have the numbers advantage. The Corki, Ushiro can't really fight here at this point, at this stage of the game. Ezreal is much better placed to start fighting right at the start, which is the base damage of the missile shots, being able to get those that damage out as well. And this is crucial, right? Because this is going to factor into the Drake fight. The double kill onto Antondi is going to give him his item break points here.
Not to mention that red buff.
Yeah, not to mention that red buff.
Yeah,
so
he's got that
double
red
whammy
buff
here for TUPM. And yeah, he should have, because usually we see that by the time that Drake spawns, usually it'll just be the Tier and maybe the Sheen, right?
Yeah.
Or the Ezreal. But here we might be seeing more than that. We might actually be seeing like the Tier, Sheen, and a Caulfield's Warhammer, which is going to be big for that Drake fight. And after that, it should be an easy transition into the Triforce onto the once the Rift Herald spawns because of that double kill. That's super crucial there. And this Baron lane here, yeah, this lane is kind of going the way it's expected to, but a little bit of an attempt here by Bitter End, not finding anything.
Yeah, and I think, you know, right now we're pretty much not going to see much again because of that kind of that double kill going over to the Ezreal. So, you know, they want to play safe right now, Gearhawks do, until this next dragon coming up. It is that Cloud Dragon. And, you know, they're going to want to, Gearhawks are not going to want to give that one up. The Cloud Drake is very valuable for, you know, this composition that Bravehearts are running. You know, that extra movement speed is really going to be beneficial for, you know, even a Garen, because he's already fast. Actually, Garen's pretty fast, you know, just with his kit alone. So that speed's really going to help him kind of get in the front line, not to mention going over on Ezreal, just being able, already a high mobility champ. So we're going to see Dragon being set up here in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, and like I said, just that longsword should be enough to shore up the disadvantages that Ezreal usually has, even with the first Sheen item spike for Drake fight. But here, it's a big moment here for TUPM Gearhawks, because that's just an 800 gold lead on side of Faith Bravehearts. They need to make sure that either Antondi is not a factor, so that gold lead actually doesn't exist for this fight, or they either let Faith be the ones to start it, and since they're on red side, they should have the advantage on the Disrupt, because they have Messick, they have the Bitter End with Aesthetic as well for the backup here. But Sly looking for something with Tivers.
The Tivers coming down, and everybody here. There's the Monsoon coming out from Jaina, but there's so much CC as well. Garen trying to do his best there. Tivers in the way of everything. The Hero's entrance coming down as well. Anton very low, trying to get out. Akali not able to get that because the blast comes there. And this looks like it's going to be secured here for the Gearhawks, looking to secure that first dragon. Again, Messick just holding them off really, really well there, actually. And that was a fight right there.
Definitely in here. Once again, it's what I said, right? They let Faith Bravehearts kind of start the dragon, or at least be in that pit, and then Sly just comes in. It's a little bit messy. Ushiro was in a little bit of duress here because Tokyo was right around there, but because the fight was split in that manner, Bravehearts' formation was broken when TUPM just stampeded over there with their CC. The Hero's entrance allowed for this big area of deterrence that's not just damage reduction, but also like if you stay there, you're going to get knocked up. But if you walk away from that, that's like free hits from TUPM, which is why this is such a strong tool here to have this kind of soft wombo combo with a Galio and the Tivers.
Yeah, and we can see, you know, lanes being swapped here because the Rift Herald is going to be the next objective focused here in 30 seconds. Yeah. And going back to that fight real quick too, I just want to mention Messick on that Akali just did a great job at zoning, you know, zoning everyone that he needed to zone out there. Right? Yeah, just such a good job at that, and which really allowed them to win that team fight. So we're going to see again Rift Herald coming in here, and I'm sure we'll see these, you know, once again the Baron laners will most likely be coming to join this fight. And there's the charms. Rengar on top of Tokyo gets the bull off, but he's not going to be able to connect there. Getting really low on this on Ari. Level up's gonna have to go back. Yep.
Gets control of the Rift Herald here, and actually, yeah, we'll see if Faith Bravehearts actually will want to disrupt it. It is gonna be a 5v4 flash with Tibbers. Oh no.
Tibbers coming down once again, but the Rift Herald's still being worked on in the back. Here's the hook shot. The Hextech ultimatum coming down as well. They do secure the Rift Herald. There's the Monsoon. Everybody trying to get this Akali. Mezek looking for the recall there, but gets taken down. Mezek working on Penguin, but Penguin's going to be able to get away. Tokyo now, the Charm versus the Rengar, and Rengar able to secure that kill. Demantian Justice, not enough to take out Mezek. And there you go, the flash coming out right there as well. And Gearhawks. Gearhawks coming out.
Looking good, right? And looking at that ROG replay once again here, Faith Bravehearts, they should have conceded it. They don't have Tokyo. They all end on the Rift Herald here to try and steal, but that just puts them in a worse position here because this composition, like I said, it's all about space. You know, hang back, let them come to you, and then reestablish the battle line so that it's in your favor. There, they just threw that all away and just went straight for the Herald, which has allowed TUP and Gearhawks to not only secure it, but also get all those bonus kills. This would not have been a 5k gold lead with Herald in the hands of TUP. Faith just played it a little bit more principled, didn't go for the full-on gorilla Rift Herald steal attempt, and just went for, you know, just hang back. Maybe they can get Rift Herald, but if we stay back a little bit and wait for Tokyo, maybe they could have gotten some trade kills.
Yeah, and the one thing too, again, you know, I got to see Sly again on this Annie yesterday, and Sly is playing it again just very, very well. And I like that the way the Sly plays Annie is he starts fights. He chooses when to either flash in or go in and start and drop that Tibbers. And then you can see he just picked up a kill on the Ezreal in the bottom lane. There is a skirmish in the bottom lane going on. There you go. And once again, also here, Garen getting taken out by Akali, and everybody low. And there's so much action around the map, you know, we can't keep up here as everybody's low now for Bravehearts, and they're going to be working on this turret up here. But again, you know, a lot of fights are started by Sly, which I really, you know, commend, and I think that's how you need to play Annie, especially when you pick a pick like that. So, you know, good job on Sly's part, and I think Bravehearts really needs to do something about that. You know, they do have to worry about a Rengar, they have to worry about Mezek, but, you know, at the same time, they need to try not to get caught out by Sly.
Yeah. And that's really all about vision, right? The way Sly has been starting these fights, he hides in these little cubbies, right, around the jungle. And then when the coast is clear, when the time is right, he just comes out without Tibbers. The itemization here is like he goes for the Roa because he's also a stun bot, pretty much. With the Tibbers, stays in the fight with eternity passive. The Roa gets more CC out for his team because that's kind of what they're lacking here aside from the Galio, right? So he stays in the fight, gets a Rabadons, and that actually just shores up the offensive lacking of the Roa build that we usually see, like the Seraphines build up. Oh my lord.
Yeah, they couldn't even contest that Infernal there. They're going to have to just back off a Rampage for the Akali on top of the Ari. Yep, and look at Rengar trying to get on top of Anton Dai. He does land the bola, nice job. The damage insane too, and the Hextech ultimatum coming out, but he's going to keep jumping from the bush again. Penguin trying to zone him out, but here is Sly on this Annie. Now he's working to get these two down. Tibbers taking all the shots for the turret, and a Rift Herald on top of it. Again, Sly working from the back, coming on top of the Penguin, and Penguin has nowhere to go. Unfortunately, he's still alive, though. Wow, the survival of this Garen.
But it's like survival doesn't do much for him. Even if they don't get the kill, they're still getting gold out there. They're clearing the waves, they're taking the jungle camps, taking the turrets, and we see here it's like all coming it's crashing down now for Faith Bravehearts, right? The Triforce already built up. Usher is going to get the IE very, very soon. The Lich Bane combined with the Tibbers and the Sheen procs from Usher means that these turrets are going to be melting like butter, right?
Yeah, and you know, the Snowball is getting bigger and bigger here for Gearhawks. They have the 2 Dragon buffs, Inferno and Cloud. You know, they have a huge gold lead right now, which means itemization-wise, they're in the lead as well. So, you know, again, Bravehearts really have to do something. Again, here comes Tibbers again, and they're able to get away just in time. So they know Tibbers is down, right? They need to get this vision up. They know Tibbers is not available. So, but still, Sly isn't the only one that they have to watch out for. As you can see here, Rengar just kind of moving around as well. Yep, and we got Mezek pushing that bottom portion of the map. So we're gonna see if they pull the go on this Baron as well.
I think they can actually try starting. They have like 3 or 2 Triforces in the Lich Bane, can really bonk down that Baron there. But here it's kind of because they don't want to get poked down, because even with a 12k deficit here, Bravehearts cancel, whittle them down. Baron's gonna help them out with that. So TUPM Gearhawks, they know that they can start Baron whenever they want, but they're waiting for the opportunity where they can take Baron uncontested, or they can force Bravehearts into a bad position. Let's say like Mezek shoves the wave in the Dragon lane here, starts that really pressuring push at that point, and then maybe they can force a decision by trying to start Baron. They don't need to finish it, they just need to turn, because this comp here is really good at just like turning around. You're doing the Baron right, Faith Bravehearts walks up, hey, that's our Baron, and then TOPM just turns around, just rushes you. That's the game plan here for the Gearhawks here, and they're just playing it slowly. They know they're in the lead. They don't need to do anything crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to do anything crazy. Like, their eyes are literally set on Baron next. I mean, they have the majority of those tier 2 turrets down, you know, in the mid and the bottom portion of the map, and they still have a couple objectives to work on before they can really, you know, start this Baron. But what they're doing too is seeing if any available picks are, because they've been clearing the vision the entire time, you know, so they know eventually. Like here, we have Mezek on top of Tokyo forcing that Spirit Rush as well. There's the Hextech Ultimatum. The Stasis coming out as well. She might be in trouble here. Mezek tries to get away. He's going to go ahead and just back off there. And again, Rengar here as well. So a lot committed there for Mezek. A lot of summoners as well coming out. We're going to see how they set this up as they push into this tier 3 turret here in the mid lane.
And the mid lane, tier 3 is kind of deep. They're mostly here just to try and look for a death rush, because they have control over the jungle. What TUP Gearhawks does is that they go and take over, push in the second tier, and then after that they lay down the groundwork for their like guerrilla warfare wards there. So they place down wards. We see that in the Dragon lane side of Faith Bravehearts. Those wards are all red for the Gearhawks.
Yep.
I might add. And that is going to be the Drake in full control once again. So
yeah, once again,
know where they need to put those wards in. They control and they choke out Faith Bravehearts.
And you can see here Sly just waiting for someone to come peek into the Dragon, but you know, they're just going to give it up. I mean, Bravehearts knows that if they do, they don't have any vision, so if they peek into there, you know, most likely they're going to get bursted down. So there's not much they can do in terms of contesting that Dragon there. Now they could turn around, clear wards hopefully, and grab a pick off themselves. So they're not completely out of this game, and the longer the game goes on, the more chances that Bravehearts have to really build those items and try to match itemization-wise with Gearhawks.
Yeah, at that point, it's going to be a little bit tough, but Ezreal and Camille, after a few items, can definitely just put down the hurt. It is a 13k gold lead, which means that Mezek's just going to be able to just survive long enough to kill Bravehearts before that happens. Usher has a lot of safety himself. Bitter End, as long as he gets a kill, it's okay if he goes down. As long as they're not fighting for Baron, it's okay if he goes down in the middle of the team fight, right? And at that point here, I think TUPM Gearhawks is just about ready. They have a pretty decent wave crashing down bot lane, or Dragon lane rather. Antondi is there to try and respond, and well enough, that's a signal. TUPM Gearhawks, okay, their marksman is bot lane, can't do anything. Let's take this purple worm and get out of here. And
there you go.
Just getting out. He's getting in there, getting that Tibbers down.
As I said, man, Sly on this Annie, he knows how to play it. And you have to watch out for him. Again, here comes Rengar as well on Tokyo. The burst damage is huge. The Bola. Can Galio get the kill here? That's going to be an escaper there for Tokyo. And again, once again, they have the Baron power play available to them. They're going to go ahead and push into these tier 3 turrets now. And right now, you know, itemization-wise, and it's funny because Corki here is 0-0-4. He hasn't really had the chance to even... I mean, he has those items, but there's so much damage coming out from Akali, you know, Sly on the Annie. You have Bitter End on this Rengar, right? There's so much damage there, and Corki's just pushing the lanes and continuing
Oh
farming.
god.
So, there's just too much damage right now on Gearhawks for them to really deal with.
Yeah, but yeah, and Ushiro's kind of just there so damage bed, Once Messick and Bitter End, they come in, they're like shock troops. If Messick and Bitter End go down, Ushiro's there to pick up the pace. The thing is, they don't really go down because of just how ahead they are and how mobile they can be. So here Messick's going to take a lot of damage here. And even if they push Messick off, it's like, oh, more Tibbers action.
Yep, more Tibbers action. They're going to be looking
to
end the game here as they push into the Nexus. Gearhawks looking to take game one. That's going to be the Nexus being focused on here, and that's going to be game number one. Going over to Gearhawks. There we go.
Ooh, that's just rough here. A very decisive win from TUP Gearhawks. Their rotations are clean. They know when to pull the trigger on these objectives. Okay, let's go for Drake. Let's go for Drake here, and then but we don't start it because we're on even ground, so we let them start it, and then when they're in a worse position map-wise, then we go for the kill. Same with Baron. Ezreal's down in Dragon Lane by himself. We start this, we pull the trigger on the Baron, and they get an easy win there from Bravehearts. But I think the Faith team can bring it back at least 1-1, but they have to fix up how they respond to the threats that Gearhawks presents.
Yeah, they definitely, they definitely have to respond. I would be surprised again, if most people don't think about banning Annie, because if you do obviously ban Annie, there's so many other things that so many worth being banned. I think, in terms of Annie and Sly on Annie, because that was a big problem here. Sly's really starting those fights, and each kill adds up and adds up and adds up, and eventually Annie is just be a huge threat. So I think coming into this next draft, Bravehearts really needs to consider maybe even a more influential mid pick that they can have, or even a better just all-around team composition. I mean, they had that kind of poke composition going, with Ahri, Ezreal, but they really didn't get to utilize it because of the snowball and the momentum happened too fast. And we know poke compositions take some time to really build up.
It's like a slow burn.
It's like a slow burn. So they definitely need to come in with a new idea for the draft here.
Yeah, or just play to that win condition of that specific draft, because we saw they were the ones charging in when they should be the ones making space for themselves. What they did was make Gearhawks' job easier to gap close at that point, and that was just rip. That was just them getting torn apart at that point. So we're approaching game 2 here, and this is day 4 of the group stage, and this is we're approaching the climax of the group stage at this point after day 3, which I think is the pivotal day for if you have 5 days on the group stage. Day 3 is the pivotal one. Yeah. Here is going to be Gearhawks. If they 2-0 this, they have a very, very comfortable 10 points here. We're leaving Bravehearts with 4, which will change the landscape of the bottom 3 of the group. Yeah. So it's going to be a very, very important game here for Faith Colleges. Gragas is banned, of course. Garen. Actually,
Gragas is almost a guaranteed banned every time,
Seems to be a trend now in UFC. It's just so versatile, right?
Yeah, he can almost fit in every lane, right? So
yeah, we've even seen Gragas support be viable as well.
Yeah,
and it's you have body slam, you have a lot of disengage potential or engage potential. Fiora here against Penguin. Akali, if Akali is left open here, I think Gearhawks might take it away from Penguin, right? Because they want to make sure that Penguin is a strong lane. If you put him on Garen, it's kind of easily countered at this point.
Yeah.
And with Fiora banned, Messick, or rather with Fiora banned, Penguin doesn't really have anything else. And Messick also plays the Akali. They have the exact same champion pool. Penguin here and Messick. So they can try and take that away depending on the ban here by Bravehearts.
Yeah, and I think Messick did a great job too. I mean, on that Akali, really setting up those team fights. And I think a lot. It isn't noticed as much, by Baron laners. I mean, Akali does pack a lot of damage, but by Baron laners, it's not noticed as much, the zoning potential that they have, especially on someone like Akali, where she does have a lot of damage, especially with a perfect execution. That second part of that cast is a huge threat that a lot of people don't think about. And, even earlier, just the amount of threat that Akali has, and has that shroud to protect her as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see who takes Akali, because it looks like it looks like it's gonna be open.
Gearhawks,
If
it is the Galio, I think Gearhawks has to take it.
That's what I'm waiting to see as well.
Okay, so I think for red side, especially since Braveheart it's on red side, I think if it's a trifecta, right?
Yeah.
Gragas, Akali, and Camille are the flex trifecta, I think, for second rotation.
Mm.
That's why I don't know. I prefer playing black on chess, going second here. It gives you more counterplay opportunities. Bravehearts is the same here. They have if Akali is left open here, they can flex Akali Camille, and I think that's very very strong because I
Yeah.
think 34, 35 he does play the Camille. He hasn't shown us. He's mostly played like Wukong by Gragas, has shown us the Rengar, but I think if he can pick up the Camille, he should. If the
Mhm.
Akali can go for Penguin, Tokyo can also play it as well. Though we've seen a lot of control mages from Tokyo. We've got the
Yeah.
Oriana, sometimes the Gragas. So it is going to be the Galio. Now, will Gearhawks pick up the Akali here? Is a
Yeah.
question.
I think,
But
an
Diana
Oriana
was
pick
left
would be good
open.
too. Yeah,
Diana
Diana's
was
left
left
open.
open.
But Diana, like,
Hmm.
she
Hmm.
takes certain execution, right?
Yeah.
Like they're Diana's one of those champions that you really need to execute it well with, because a lot of times,
Hmm.
yes, the Moonfall is scary, the ultimate's scary, especially when you get the whole entire team around objectives.
Hmm.
But if there isn't that
Yes.
proper follow up, she is very vulnerable.
Hmm.
So, but still a good pick. Diana's still a strong pick, and now we have that Lee Sin over there as
Camille.
well as the Camille.
Like Camille is really good, like just a very good blind pick into the Baron lane. I think Camille loses a little bit of that oomph as in terms of the draft, not in terms of the game,
Yeah.
because usually you can flex it top or Baron lane jungle. Here, because the Lee Sin is locked in, there's no mystery, and that means there's nothing to like play around with in terms of the draft. You're giving already a lot of information here. Here,
Here's the
because Akali
Akali.
wasn't taken in the first rotation red side, they take it in the blue side here. And that's very strong.
Yeah, and
Um,
I'm surprised, Ziggs. I actually am
mhm.
glad to see Ziggs being picked here,
Yeah.
by Tokyo, because I think Ziggs provides a lot of utility around the map, the
Hmm.
pressure as well, with Mega Inferno Bomb and everything. And I think, objectives this game are going to be really important because the last game, all the
Perfect.
objectives went over to Gearhawks.
Yeah.
All of them went to
And
Gearhawks. So,
mhm.
Bravehearts really needs to get some of those objectives, and I think they're picking some champions that are going to help them, hopefully get those this time
Yeah.
around.
I mean, Lee Sin is very good at securing these objectives just with a resonating strike into the smite. It's a very good execute
Yeah.
combo there. A little bit of timing needed and just knowledge of the number values of what your resonating strike and your smite can do versus the HP of the epic monster. Here, okay, so this is very characteristic of like aesthetic, right? Like you get
Mhm.
the Janna, you get the safe bot lane there, or safe dragon lane there with a
Yeah.
Corki, and you just and we talked about this before with my cast with Dash and whatnot. It's
Mhm.
resource allocation. Diana and Akali are a little bit hungry, so you
Yeah.
want a kind of a low, not low effort, low intensity, chill, safe bot lane that can
Right.
handle its own without too much babysitting.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that's a good choice by them. And also, I'm really surprised to see Rakan here, as well. Like I said, I think, the Bravehearts really wants to focus on these objectives this game, and I think they have the proper toolkit for that. Rakan
Mhm.
able to set up for his team, and just one of those supports that, again, if played
Very
correctly,
aggressive.
can really set things up.
Mhm.
Whether it's picks, whether it's a
Yeah.
team fight, a really well placed, quickness, just something. And then, of course, they have that Ziggs, AOE there and everything else. So it'll be interesting to see how they outplay it this time. I think their composition going into game two is much better.
Yeah.
I will say that.
But Bravehearts, this is a one-trick pony comp, right? All you do is go in. The Ziggs kind of is like support fire, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't really mesh well in that sense where you just go in. The mid lane isn't like the Ziggs isn't really a go-in champion, but it's there as like support fire. You go in, suppress Gearhawks with the threat of the bombs, and then let Antondi and Penguin do their work, and maybe 34, 35 as well. But here, we've loaded onto the game here, and while we're just gonna see, I think, just opposite side jungling here, which means unless the same thing happens like last game where they contest bot Scuttler, we're not going to have too much action there in terms of. So this gives a little bit of time to thank our sponsors real quick, right?
Yep.
So of course, USC 2021 wouldn't be possible without our amazing sponsors and partners: Globe Telecom, ASUS ROG Phone 5, Logitech G, Riot Games, and Twitch Student. And we'll talk more about Logitech and the ROG Phone 5 later after this game. But for now, yeah, it seems like they don't want to face each other just yet. I mean, this Rengar wants to rush that level 5, right, to get the
Yeah.
thrill of the hunt as soon as possible.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to see the action around the scuttles. You know, that's what happened last game. And
Oh, it seems like that is what's going to happen.
yeah,
Just from
usually,
routing.
yeah, just from the routing. You know, if you take a look at the junglers and everything, they're going to meet up most likely for that bottom portion of the scuttle. And again, I'm actually surprised. You know, Mezek on this Akali once again, and you know, this time around, Sly taking up that Diana. You know, that could have gone either way, and it's going to be interesting to see how Sly plays Diana this time. But knowing that Sly's a very aggressive player, I'm sure he'll shine on there. And again, you can see the scuttle action coming here. They're looking to get a smite, and who's going to get who here? There's the smite. All right, they missed one, but there's the knockup from Khan. And Janet getting really low, does get taken out. The first blood going over to the Lee Sin. Ray has to get out, gets taken down. The flash comes out as well. Sly able to survive, but it looks like Rengar is going to go down. Tokyo with the red buff here. Yushiro surviving. And there we go. As we mentioned, we have this action right here.
More action in the scuttler once again. And here, it's the same thing. Corki at this point doesn't really have a lot of fighting potential, so this gets blocked off by the Kaisa. Because if Ushiro forces to go there, then Anton D can just duel him straight up, and that's not really productive. So there, once again, it's TUPM kind of blundering the early scuttle take here.
That was a good try. Yeah, good try right there. But there's the Sonic Wave going to connect there and going to take down the double kill, going over to this Lee Sin here, RTZ. Yeah, and you know, again, RTZ now has that jungle advantage, you know, and he's going to be using that to his advantage, I'm sure, leading into that first objective. It is a Mount. There's a knockup once again. Ray coming in with that Rakan. The shielding is out too, and you know, we mentioned Rakan played aggressively can really set things up. So again, that going back to that scuttle, if played that same way around these bigger objectives, it's going to be interesting to see how a Gearhawks respond to this. And there's the Hextech ultimatum coming out right there. They're working on Bitter End. Does miss the wave right there, but Kali here to help him out. Mezek trying to best. The bombs come from the side. Look at the damage from Mezek, though. And there you go. I think the double kill. Okay, double kill going to Salai.
Small mistake. Actually, no, that's a big blunder by Bravehearts.
Yeah.
Earlier, I was like, props, man. They know that they started on opposite sides, and they know they have the better, like, level 3 fight, level 4 fight, so they go for the scuttler and get those advantages there. They go for the invite in blue, but here they kind of get ahead of themselves, right? They do have priority for their laners, but they kind of ignored the level spikes here for the Baron. Like, level 5 is a huge spike for each solo laner, right? And at that point, they left themselves open. They delivered a delicious kill here to Slide. Double kill means that Roa is going to come in much, much faster, and an accelerated Roa is going to stack up way earlier into the game, and it's going to be a big problem as those stats become more efficient.
Yeah, we were just talking about them being confident, and I think, you know, during that last fight, they were a little too confident. Yeah, level difference.
Penguin and Mess 76, but he just reached 6.
He just reached 6, and now they're going to be leading up into that Mount Drake. Look at the damage from the Rengar. Bitter End, once again, has the satchel charge out. Corki going in under turret. There you go, Yushiro. There you go. Has that package, and here comes Penguin. Nice play there, right there.
Just to avoid the Hextech ultimatum. But it was just about
dragon.
To get off the 345.
Trying to knock up there. Yep.
Nice.
Again, there you go. Ray taking a lot of damage. There you go. Everybody initiating here. Ray trying to get out, but he's going to get jumped on top of the Rengar. There's the Hextech ultimatum coming down, and they get taken out. Mega Inferno Bomb not doing much there. And again, RTZ here with the GA. He might try to make a play here to steal this Drake, but Mezek once again zoning control. Here comes Ziggs. And again, here he comes. He does try to get it, but he's going to get taken down. The GA being popped. Blue team securing that first Drake for the game. He's going to flash out, but they're going to go ahead and chase him down. Gets taken out once again by Sly. Another kill going over to Sly right there.
Yeah. And it seems like after that good opening play by Faith Bravehearts, as the game gets more complex, because the minutes pass by, more decisions have to be made. It seems like Faith Bravehearts is making these mistakes. Right, they try to fight it out when the items are already there for TUPM, and at this point, because of those kills, crucial. Because usually, if we see a 0-kill dragon lane here with a Corki, by the time Rift Herald spawns, he only has the 3 components for Triforce.
Yeah.
And between the 3 components of Triforce and the actual completed Triforce is like night and day in terms of fighting potential.
Yeah,
And this means that TUP and Gearhawks has to just fight this out and dominate this drift.
yeah, I think, you know, Gearhawks did a great job. I mean, they had a hard start, and they're coming back here. You can see some action around the Rift Herald now as they get set up around there. But again, Gearhawks doing a great job against Sly here. Does not connect on top of Anton, but does take Ray. Sly's going to go ahead. He has the double buff as well, so very confident Sly here. And looks like they're going to go ahead and give the green signal on this Rift Herald. Are they going to be able to get it at least in? Doesn't have the GA, but he's going to go in. Does not get the smite off. And now they're in trouble. They're trying to escape. Manages to escape, actually, with just very little health for both of them. 34 plus 35. And Ray getting really low here. The Bola connecting on top of Ziggs. Wow, look at the damage from Bitter End. And there you go. That's going to be another kill. Going over to this Corki. Yushiro has that Triforce, a nice 3-0-2, and that's going to be Rift Herald for Gearhawks as well.
Yeah, and like both of those objectives going clean to Gearhawks. And once again, it's Faith kind of not playing around the objective, right? Like, yes, they rotate over to top side. They send their Dragon Laners, or the marksman support, all the way to Baron side. But there, they get a bad trade. They underestimate the damage potential of Sly. They get chunked down, which means they have to back off. Especially Kai'Sa, right, who has the lowest range, I think, out of the lowest range out of the viable marksman that we have in Wild Rift right now. So yeah, it's very easy to just kill that half HP Kai'Sa. So them trying to pick a fight with Sly there was not the play. They should have just chilled back, made sure the wave is at least neutral, if not in their favor, and then join the Herald fight, because you can't really kill your instinct if you're half HP in here once again. Underestimating the Diana, so lots of shielding.
Yeah, Diana going in, and just nice play there by Sly. And now, oh, they're in trouble. Here comes, once again, the Rengar. Nice little knockup by Jaina, but they're not going to be able to connect there. But that might be a turret as well. They do, again, have that Rift Herald. Sly so strong on this Diana once again, and you know, again, very confident. 1 versus 2, and here comes Yushiro once again on top of Tokyo. Tokyo gonna satchel charge out of there, and I think Yushiro hurt us last game. You know, he was kind of just chill in game 1, just 0-0-4 or something like that. Yeah, now Yushiro's here showing up on this Corki, you know, making plays. Nice score, has his items that he needs, and he's shining definitely in this game too.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want Bitter End and Sly and Messick to take all of the glory, so he's coming in a little bit 3-0-2, already almost completing that IE. And once that item spike gets reached, once Bitter End as well gets his probably his GA, and then it's gonna be very hard, because usually this Rengar, like I said, is a shock trooper. He jumps in, he gets an assassination. It's okay if he dies. But with a GA, that gives him a second chance to leap onto someone and repeat his rotation of burst damage. And especially since TUP and Gearhawks likes fighting around these jungles, these brushes, he's gonna have a rich selection of bushes to jump from.
Yep, Sly there, the dragon being worked on. Who's gonna get the smite off? Once again, Rengar getting the smite. There's so much damage coming from Yushiro, and again, there's not even a chance there for Bravehearts, as they're just taken down. 34 plus 35, running for his life, gets chunked down by Yushiro, and that's gonna be a kill there. And Rift Herald still up, and they get the kill here on this Kai'Sa. That's gonna be a team ace right there, Hiron.
Pretty much. And here, once again, Bravehearts, this comp only does one thing, but when their support fire is down, when the Ziggs is getting heckled by Sly here, there's not much. It kind of falters. The charge breaks, right? Because the way suppressive fire works is that the Ziggs is laying down bombs, restricting their movements, which makes Bravehearts' target selection a lot better, allows them to get their damage in. But without that Ziggs, and just with TUP and Gearhawks like 13k gold lead, they can just charge in like cavalry, uncontested.
Again, I got to give it up to you know, Sly, and all the members of Gearhawks do this really well when they need to, is they zone out those characters when they need to. I mean, you just mentioned it, Sly over there zoning out level up on the Ziggs, making that dragon fight a lot easier. But even then, there's just so much damage packed in over here on Gearhawks that Bravehearts are finding it hard to really go toe-to-toe with them. And not to mention Sly just on that Diana. And Moonfall is going to be so scary no matter how many people are caught in that from Sly's Diana.
especially 34-35 Penguin. They want to go in. Anton D, with that range, wants to go in with a Killer Instinct as well. Has the potential to get caught in that Moonfall as well. Ray too, you know, since, like I said, this composition does one thing, and that's to go in. And with 13k gold deficit, yeah, they can kind of bank on the items on that Kai'Sa carrying them through. But this kind of comp without any super tanky frontline, when it falls behind, it really stops, right?
Yeah.
If you fall behind in this race here, you just like stop running at all with this kind of comp. So maybe Bravehearts just kind of missed their entire opportunity to get this game when they blundered those after the opening, good opening, and then blundered the play after that.
Yeah, they did have a really good opening. You know, they can't even contest this Baron Nashor at this point. And you know, we mentioned Ray's pick on Rakan. Oh no, here's Tokyo gonna get bursted down, but it has the satchel charge. Bitter End gonna go on and just back off there, just showing how much damage really Bitter End has there. But again,
the discipline too,
and the discipline to back off. You don't see that often, but well played there. But again, Ray on the Rakan pick could really work, as you mentioned, but if you fall back with this type of team composition without really having a solid frontliner, it makes it very, very difficult to win in these team fights.
Like when you draft for this, like we've seen a lot of teams in UAC draft this, no solid front line, they just go in full damage. Then they are expecting to win these team fights in the blink of an eye, right? You want to be winning these team fights, like you go in with a huge impact, and once the smoke clears, that's 5v3. That's because of your sheer damage, it becomes 5v3. But here they're not able to pull off that team composition. Gearhawks is just playing around them as well, and actually they have a similar kind of composition here.
No. The damage from Sly. Sly does have to pop the stasis. It was a show of damage, but there was not enough to follow up there, unfortunately. So Sly being taken down there, a little bit very confident on that Diana, obviously. So that's going to be a kill over for Bravehearts, but they are still, you know, having that Baron power play available to them. Yeah, they still have that advantage. You know, one kill is not going to make the difference here, but they are now, the Gearhawks are now knocking on the doors for Bravehearts.
Yeah, inhibitor down. The thing is, there's so little combat potential in Wild Rift, right? In League PC, you can kind of hang back, let the inhibitors respawn. In Wild Rift, you don't have that option.
Yeah.
So here, this mid lane's always going to be a pressure point that's being pinched naturally. Even if Gearhawks doesn't do anything in that mid lane, that's just naturally going to pressure Bravehearts. And this, they go for the Ocean Drake uncontested once again. And once that happens, that's just sustain. With all the damage that they're dealing, that physical and magic vamp, is just going to carry them through these team fights. And they did make a mistake earlier. I do think that Sly did not need to die there to get those turrets mid lane and top lane. But and like I said, doesn't really make a difference. But it is something that they should polish, because when Gearhawks fights teams that are more evenly matched, those small details are going to bite them in the back if they don't polish them.
Yeah. And I mean, again, speaking of just the possibility of comebacks here, surprisingly, yes, it is very hard in Game of Wild Rift to come back, but we've seen it before. You know, it can be a backdoor, it can be, you know, they could develop those items that they really need. There could be more mistakes made, and you know, time and time again in competitively we've seen it. It just, at this point right now, Gearhawks are in that driver's seat. They just took out, you know, Penguin on the Camille, and again, they're just dealing with so much damage coming out from any member, maybe aside from Janna, but Janna does provide those knockups, those utilities.
It's
you
like
know,
an insurance policy, this Janna is, right?
But every member over on Gearhawks right now is just super, super strong, and it doesn't matter who they handle. They're just outclassed right now, itemization wise.
And once again, the vision control here, TUP and Gearhawks knows this because they have control over the top side jungle, the Baron side jungle here, Faith Bravehearts. They know that Faith knows that Baron is coming up, so they set up a death rush. It doesn't work. Faith Bravehearts a little bit too late on the uptake, but then they have full control of the Baron here. And here, Bitter End, as soon as he pops that ulti, they're not really going for. They were okay with full turning without finishing the Baron here, but because Faith just conceded it straight up, and once again,
Messick. Messick getting taken out there.
Trying to be a distraction here, but I think this can still be a game-winning push here once they get this It's going to be a straight 4v4. They still have Moonfall. They still have Monsoon for the little bit of insurance policy. They just need to like take this down with a Corki to stir it down and then just dive in. Just like I said, TUP and Gearhawks has a similar comp to Fate, and here we go.
Yep, here we go, the push right here, and there's the stasis being popped, and they're going to go ahead and push into this. Nice knockup, though, unfortunately, just getting taken down by that damage, and looks like right here for Game 2, Gearhawks going to go ahead and take the second game, and there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners right there, Gearhawks, TUP Manila.
2-0.
Very strong showing by Gearhawks right there.
And that is a huge point leap, right? Especially, like I said, we're reaching the climax of the group stage here with day 4. And that means that from 7 points, they get 10 points now, and that's going to be a tough act to follow. And that pretty much secures them top 3 getting into playoffs. Meanwhile, for Bravehearts, 4 points is rough. If they could have gotten 5 points, I think it would have been still stable. But here's a little bit more. They need to make sure that their day 5 is perfect, right?
Yeah, true. But great series, great games. You know, congratulations once again to Gearhawks. We do have another series ahead of us, guys. So, you know, we do want to, before we go to break, we want to give a quick shout out once again to our sponsors. We have, of course, ASUS ROG. That without them, this tournament, you know, we have the tournament is presented by ASUS Republic of Gamers, powered by the reigning king of gaming smartphones, of course, the ROG Phone 5. Phone 5. It has that 144 hertz AMOLED display, massive battery, by the way, to keep you gaming all day long. And if you guys want to check out more, you can go ahead and head over to rog.acadarena.com.
Yeah. So ASUS Republic of Gamers as well. I mean, finlex na ni Yoko Chan ni Rebenga yung phone nila in their previous streams. Unfortunately, nice one. I don't have anything to flex for you guys from ROG, but we do have to give a shout out to our partners, Logitech G as well. If you're looking to supercharge your gaming setup, so you can hashtag keep playing, check out Logitech's amazing gaming gear at logitech.acadarena.com or type exclamation Logitech G in the chat for 175 peso discount for a minimum of 1,750 peso purchase on any Logitech G product. So pair that ROG Phone 5 with some Logitech peripherals as well to maximize your gaming potential. And this has been a crossover episode between the Tagalog and English broadcast, right? And later we're gonna have like you with Dash as well. So it's gonna be fun to watch indeed. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be cutting to a break very, very soon. Once again, we've been Shoutcasters. I am Hyron with Ms. Niso, and we'll be back after a very short break.
Why don't you watch me do my thing? Reinvent and show the world, yeah. Just to be more, just to be better, just to evolve, just to evolve, just to be more, just to be better, just to evolve, just to evolve. Every time the world spins round, reinvent 360. Thinking you gon' miss a good thing, yeah. Show the whole world, reinvent. Nobody should know something, be strong. You watch me do my thing.
Take it to the next level with Globe's fiber, LTE Advanced